Hey everybody, welcome to Friday with Born Again to Live, live on air. Actually, we're not live, but
They don't know that, Eric.
we are alive.
We are alive. We are on air. Have we reminded our listeners that we have a Facebook page?
I think we did it on Monday, but we don't do it often enough.
Yeah.
Born Again to Live, the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. So hit us up with just some comments and questions.
Saw something blowing behind Amy in the window outside, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, don't confuse me. But yeah, so we'd love to hear from you guys, whether you're a new listener, Oscar, you're always just so on top of things. We love getting messages from you. If you've listened to this for a while and you've never reached out, I think today is the day you need to just reach out and say hi.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want to say, like, you guys suck, like, go for it. Like, we just need to know you're out there. We can take it. We can take the hit. But yeah. And I feel like the other piece of house cleaning we need to do, Eric, is, well, you just haven't dropped your catchphrase in a while. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on.
That it's not a religion, it's a relationship.
That's right. That is what we are all about here at Born Again.
And the church isn't 4 brick walls. It's the people.
Yep.
I know. And I want to talk back when last week we were talking about all the fear stuff and everything. I messaged Lindsay and I said, hey, I hope you weren't upset that we talked about you that much. And she's like, no, y'all did a great job. Y'all on fire this week.
Wow.
She said, you did a great job and I'm facing my fears and I love what y'all had to say. And Amy made such great points. And we talked about all that. And then I said something on Friday. I was like, hey, I asked a couple people who listened. I'm like, what did you think about the Ronnie episode?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I love that you talked about it like that. And she said it reminded her how her mom went gracefully through cancer and all this stuff. And she's like, I'm so glad you paid him homage like that. And then luckily, I wanted to tell Ronnie, like, hey, I did this for you, but I don't want a pat on the back. I just want you to know that, like, as what you mean to me.
Yeah.
And so he walked into the store on Friday, and I'm like, hey, Ronnie, and here's what I told him. And I was like, just, hey, it's all about you if you want to listen. If you don't, just know that it's about you. It's awesome.
Yeah. You're an inspiration, Ronnie. Like, that was amazing. I love that episode.
So, but it was just cool that, like, again, like you said, reach out and talk to us. Like, we're not afraid to comment back. Sometimes we don't. And DJ, yes, we know that's us. I don't message back. And sometimes, Oscar, I know we don't message back. But we do read your comments. It's just a failure to get back to you sometimes. But we do get back.
Yeah. So. Well, we live in the wilds of West Virginia, Eric. Like, we don't always have good service. So sometimes I blame it on that. But
like I said, sometimes there's the crossing of messages. Like, Amy might read it and think, well, Eric is going to respond, and then I never read it because Amy already read it. And it pops up as read. And so I don't know. Sometimes it just gets lost in translation. But we do read your messages and get them, and we will respond when we can.
Yeah, and we don't know what we're doing over here, Eric. We just know God called us to just talk about how amazing He is and to share with this world that there is a better life out there, and that's a life with Jesus. So everything else, we just need grace because we are definitely amateurs.
Yeah, we weren't called to be messengers. We were called to be podcasters.
That's it. Yeah.
We talk, not type.
I love it. Maybe I'll stack that stone later. Anyway, so we're going to do something crazy. We're going to start a series on a Friday.
Yes.
Whoa.
We're going to start on a Friday and leave you hanging all weekend. Cliffhanger. Not really, but maybe it would encourage someone to go read the rest of this.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
I want to know what happens next in case they don't know.
That's right. Yeah. You can find it in the Bible.
All right. Anyways, we've been talking for a little while. We like doing a couple series. We did the Jonah one. We've done Daniel, or did we do that? We don't know if we did Daniel.
No, not Daniel. David. Yep.
But maybe we'll do Daniel at some point.
I would love to.
Maybe not all of Daniel, just some of the cool stories of Daniel.
Yeah.
But we've done a couple of those, and we broke down a couple books. And what was that?
Don't forget Shamgar. I mean, that was like a mini series because he's mentioned so much in the Bible.
And then there's that Habakkuk guy.
Oh yeah, Habakkuk.
Like 3 months of the Habakkuk.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned him in a while, or King Agrippa for that matter.
My son loves my preaching on King Agrippa.
I do too, actually.
That's going to be my stone there. don't even forget that Kipton's my stone.
Okay, I'll write
I'm
it
proud of that
down.
moment.
Okay.
My greatest moment as a father. I was so proud of you.
All righty.
But today we're going to start on a really small book in the Old Testament, Ruth.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Ruth is literally just a narrative of a life.
Yes, it is.
That's what it is. It's not, I don't know. It is pertinent to us, and it's important to the whole story of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's just the narrative of one person's life.
Yes.
And it's important to know this history, I think. So we're going to go through it and do our best to honor Ruth and what God has told us through this. So
yeah.
Well, Ruth 1, we're going to start and just read probably 1 through 5, I would say, first.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Verse 1. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife's name was Naomi. And the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah. And they went to Moab and lived there. Now, Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and husband. All right.
That's a bad run of luck.
I was going to say, that is, this story is already kind of it's a downer, Aaron. Way to bring me down on a Friday.
So, little tidbits that I got from this section is Bethlehem in Judah, it means the house of bread.
Okay.
So they were leaving the house of bread to go to Moab, basically. And I couldn't really find what Moab really meant. But it's not God's country. It's not God's world. It's a foreign land. And then you have Naomi means pleasant.
Okay.
Orpah means stubborn. Ruth means friendship. And the 2 boys, how did you pronounce them?
Elimelech and Chilion. No, I'm sorry. Chilion and Mahlon.
So that's sick and finally.
Finally.
So yeah, respectively, like those are not real good names to have. I would not want to be sick. What's your name mean? Sick?
I mean, why would you name somebody sick? That's so weird. Sickly. Yeah.
I think it's funny that Orpah is stubborn and Ruth is friendship.
It is weird.
It's kind of...
Again, I'm not going to name my kids stubborn.
Yeah, why would you just asking for it? You know?
Huh.
But anyways, the famine, from the little bit of research that I did, the famine, they talk about it could have been the same famine that was mentioned in Genesis with Abraham and that sent them to Egypt time.
Right.
Like it could have been the same kind of famine because it's kind of sort of the same wording and everything of what God kind of did in that time. So I'm not sure 100% on that. But anyways, that's what I was reading some details that may be that.
Okay.
Could be around the same time.
Okay.
But yeah, so these people are leaving the house of bread and going to this other place. So as I get later, they'll be returning to the house of bread.
Okay. Yeah, they just went there to escape a famine. Yeah, and we've seen that happen a few times in Scripture.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on to 6 through. Here we go with this one.
Probably like 15.
6 to 15. Okay. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons? Who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At that they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, and Ruth clung to her. All right, so we've got some stuff going on here.
Yeah, we've got some action finally. So it's kind of funny that they all pick up to leave, and then they're on the journey, and the mother-in-law's like, "Hey, wait, why are y'all going with me?
Yeah,
I'll go back." Like, it's not worth it. So that tells you the journey wasn't easy, probably.
right.
Like, you're struggling on this journey. You don't have enough food, probably. You're in a famine time. But there in verse 6, and the wording it says is, she had heard that the Lord, or how was it? In the country of Moab, that the Lord had visited his people, giving them bread, is what mine says.
Mm-hmm.
Translated, basically, it means God sent the rain.
Yeah.
So finally in that land, God had sent rain. So maybe in Moab, I don't know if it was not raining or if they were in famine conditions, but so they were headed back because God had sent the rain, and they figured they could go back home to where they were from. And so they start out on the journey, and Naomi was just like, "Hey, y'all go back." And both daughter-in-laws like, "Nope, we're not leaving."
Yes.
Then the second plea, they're like, "Hey, well, even I can't have another husband right now and have a kid." And so the one whose nickname is Stubborn leaves, and the one named Friendship clings to her and stubbornly will not go.
Yes. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That's like wordplay, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But again, it's setting up, and part of the reason that she's trying to send them back to find their own husbands is they are Moabite women, so they can marry in their own. They don't have to follow God's rules and this and that. But if they go with her back to Bethlehem, the house of bread area, they got to follow God's rules, and they got to follow her religion. And that says that they have to be redeemed by the brothers or sons or whatever, the genetics.
Genealogy.
Yeah, the line of people. And so she tells them, like, she's probably over 50 at this point, they estimate. So she's like, "I can't have another kid, so you're waiting on nothing. You're going to be a barren person the rest of your life. You're not going to have kids. You're going to be a widow forever. Why are you going with me when you can go back to your God's rules and live however you want and find another husband because you're still young?"
Right.
So I find it interesting that she basically says, pick your religion.
Yeah.
Like, go back and do what you want, or go with me and you might never have anything.
Yes. Yeah, because they were relying on these Israelite husbands to be their kinsmen redeemers, to be their leaders, and all of their security and wealth and everything would come through these men. And that's why she's like saying, like, surely you're not going to wait for, if I were to find a husband and have 2 more sons. And like, it is kind of this crazy little game that she's playing with them. It's just like, surely you're not going to wait, until they're old enough to marry. And yeah. But they're trying to figure it out here, right? If you want to stay with me, this is kind of like the only way that it could happen, and this isn't really practical. This doesn't make sense. And so she's setting up her daughter-in-laws to be like, listen, like, there really isn't a choice here. This is why you have to go, right? That I get it. She's really trying to convince them that this is what's best for them.
And that's not their homeland. That's not their native religion. That's not what they've known. And when I don't know if they practiced Judaism while they were in Moab, but my guess is probably not. I mean, they're in a foreign land. What are you going to do? You can't really, the only ones there maybe in that group or whatever. So how are you going to practice going to the temple and going to do all the things that God had told them to do and the sacrifices and all that? So maybe they couldn't practice that. So she's just like, listen, right now you have no commitment to God. Just shove off. Like, let me go back and do what I need to do, but you just go and be you. Then comes the next little section, which is Ruth's famous speech. Okay. So what, 15 through 17?
Okay. 17. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her.
That was a pretty good speech. I mean,
yes.
If that's word for word, that's pretty profound. Like,
yes.
Where you go, I will go. Where you die, I will die.
Yes, absolutely.
You're not getting rid of me no matter what. I mean, I'm going to serve the same God you're going to serve. Is what in the middle of that is your God will be my God. So she made her choice. And in our lives, kind of overshadowed us. We got all this bad stuff that goes on, and we go to the wrong places, and we go to the wrong path, and we're way away from where God is, or where we think he is. You know, and he's in the land of Bethlehem, the house of bread, and we're in Moab, the foreign country, and we're like, oh, we're so far from God. And she's like, listen, my God's going to be your God. And that's exactly what happens when we realize that God's with us everywhere.
Yes.
And so I love her speech. I think it's awesome how she does that. Like, and it's so convincing that the mother-in-law just says, yeah, okay, I'm not going to fight you anymore. Let's just go.
Well, I was going to say, I'm kind of looking at now, what she says in, like, you know, hold on, let me pull it right back up. And I need my glasses. When she says, your people will be my people and your God, my God. That reminds me of God telling his people, you will be my people and I will be your God. You know, it's really just it's the mirror image of what that looks like, right? I'm gonna pull that up, but let's see. Well, I guess it's mentioned several times. Exodus, I think Jeremiah is maybe the one that I was thinking about. But yeah. So your people will be my people and your God, my God. So she is, as the kids say nowadays, she's locked in.
Yeah.
She is locked in and she is doing this thing.
Yeah. And then, so we'll read to the end of the chapter here and wrap up today.
All right. So we're going, just finished off with...
You finished 18.
Okay. So we're in 19 through 22. Okay. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, can this be Naomi? Don't call me Naomi, she told them. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth and the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning.
No, and so Mara means bitter, obviously. But yeah, like you're coming to the end of this bad part of life. And I actually heard Dr. Lynn House, he came to our church and he preached on this one Saturday or one Sunday, and I can't do justice to what he said, but basically, all the stuff you're going through in life, you're not to Ruth 2 yet.
Yeah.
You're not to Ruth 2 yet. Like, you're going through Ruth 1, but there's a Ruth 2. There's a chapter 2. There's another part of life. Like, so his whole theory was that as bad as things can look sometimes, you always got time to go back to the house of bread, to bread and honey. You know, you can go back to God.
Yeah.
And so that's what this whole first chapter sets up, is basically they're returning to God.
Yes.
Because they left because of the famine, and they're like, well, we don't trust God, basically. Like, we can't stay in the land of God. We got to move somewhere else. And then all this bad stuff happens in this other spot, and they get separated from God. And so how do you just go back to God. And that's what we have to do in our Christian walk is when we get caught in those areas of separation from God and we know that the devil's pulled us away and we gotta go back to the Bethlehem. We gotta come back because chapter 2's still there.
Well, and okay, what did you say Naomi meant? What was her name?
Naomi is pleasant.
Pleasant. Okay. So, like, I don't know about you, Eric, but I kind of hate that at the end she's like referring to herself as bitter because like the Almighty has made my life very bitter. And this is just after having a daughter-in-law that says, I go where you go. I serve the God that you serve. Like, I will die with you. Like, here she just had this daughter-in-law pledge her allegiance and love and support and basically say, I'm not going to let you roam this world a lonely widow, which, I mean, back then, like, that was the curse of curses. When you had no husband and no sons, you basically were kind of a poor widow beggar.
Yep.
And here's this woman signing up for this roller coaster ride, signing up for this life that is going to be hard and awful. But she's willing to do it. And I don't know, like, I'm not a fan of Naomi right now because she's just saying, oh, like, you know, she's completely discounted that this woman is dead.
No, look how the town received her. I mean, the women were like, oh, it's Naomi. You know, they're all happy. She's like, don't be happy for me. Like,
right?
I'm bitter. My life's terrible. I have nothing.
Yeah.
And the whole town was accepting her, like, back in. You think about it. She's been in a foreign country for 10 years at least.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, my gosh, it's Naomi. We're so happy you're home. Blah, blah. Don't be happy for me.
Yeah.
Like, call me bitter. I'm like, I don't want to be Naomi anymore. I don't want to be pleasant. I want to be bitter.
Yeah. Because what woman wants to be pleasant? We all want to just be bitter, Eric.
So, yeah, that's her whole mentality is like that. And it takes to chapter 2 to change her mentality.
Absolutely.
Which we'll get to next week.
Dun, 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 dun.
So if you want to and you want to read ahead, don't feel don't have obligated to wait on us.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, you can read ahead if you would like.
But I think there's a lot of lessons in Ruth, and there will be a lot more coming in.
Yeah.
We're setting the stage. So
definitely setting the stage.
We have to stack some stones.
We have to stack some stones. Yeah, let's go.
You want to go first or me?
You get to go first.
All right, I'm going to stack the stone on the floor at Big Blue. Because the last recording session that we did here, we talked about ripping up the floor.
Oh, that's right.
And Jonathan came and ripped up the floor with us in any interview. And we went to your mom's for the last recording session, but then we're back. And then we have a brand new floor that doesn't set any spots, like we don't fall through.
Yeah.
And it's light colored, and it just made this place feel a whole lot different.
Yes.
So I am grateful that we did it. And honestly, we did it under budget.
That's always a good thing, too.
God's provision, again, that he just took care of everything for us.
Are you floored, Eric?
I'm floored by how good God is.
You're not bitter. But you know, because I'm the secretary here, I did write down your son was supposed to be kicked in.
It was.
Are we stacking 2 today?
Okay.
I'll allow it. This is your podcast.
All right. So my proud father moment was, I told Amy and Chris this the other night when we were here, but we were at the fair and I was talking to this gentleman who was talking to me about God, and he was reciting scripture like nobody's business. Like literally memorizing scripture, like passages of scripture, not just one verse. Like he was doing like John 1 through 19, and he recited word for word. And I'm like, that's pretty impressive. And he said he had leukemia 2 years ago, and he beat leukemia. And he said, when I got leukemia, I knew nothing about God and I knew nothing about the Bible. And so I started learning. And I was like, that's awesome that God gave you a gift to learn the way you're learning. And he said, yeah, I want this so that when I meet Jesus and we sit down and he asks me about everything I've done in my life, I have something to say back to him.
Huh.
And when he said it, I was kind of wanting to be like, dude, that sounds like messed up theology, and I don't really like what you're saying. But we're in a public setting, and I really didn't want to critique this guy who was so proud of himself. And
yeah,
I was kind of like, I probably should have said something, but I didn't. And so anyways, on the way home, me and Kipton were talking about the situation. And I said something about, man, that guy was doing scripture pretty good. And Kipton goes, yeah, I almost spoke up though, Dad. And I'm like, why did you almost speak up? And he goes, because when you're born again and your name's written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you don't have to sit down with Jesus and account for everything. You just say, Jesus got it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've listened so much to me preach that you get it. Like, you understand that you don't have to say, I'm sorry ever again. You don't have to sit in that table. You can say, Jesus got it. Like, it's done. Like, he covered that.
Yeah.
And you can walk straight in. You don't have to sit down at that table and have a discussion with Jesus. You don't have to come back with anything and say, all you got to do is go, hey, you got this? Good. You got the check. I'm going.
Well, I think it goes from instead of saying I'm sorry, you just say thank you. Yeah. Right? It's thank you and walk on in. Oh, yeah.
But he did. And when Kipton said, I wanted to speak up, I'm like, I thought all these times, like, I really think sometimes I speak and he just doesn't listen at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you get it. Like, he got it. It was a really proud moment for me.
That's so cool. No, I love that. I love that it's sinking in. And I love that you both kind of thought the same thing. Like, that's so cool. All right. Well, there's so much to stack. There's a lot going on right now in my life, but there's just always so much to look at what God's doing. And I guess one of the things I'm seeing, even from a distance, because I know I haven't been as involved with Big Blue with the storm that I'm in right now in this season. But what I can see coming up is so exciting. And I'm going to stack the stone for these up and coming young volunteers, Eric. And I feel like we have a Big Blue announcement to make, perhaps, but like, couple of our kids are engaged, right?
Oh, yeah. That's an awesome one. Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Ben Montgomery got engaged. It was awesome.
Yes. And so we are super excited for you guys. And we know that, or at least we're praying that they're going to stick around, not go too far, and be a part of our Big Blue community and help volunteer. And I'm seeing more of that. I'm seeing this hunger and this thirst in these older kids that are getting ready to graduate here at Big Blue. Like, they want to be here and keep doing this. And you mentioned another young lady that wants to start volunteering, Eric. And so I'm like, I am just jazzed to see, because, we have been core team has been driving this train for 6 years, and it's us adults. I mean, again, I'm going to use those finger quotes because me and Eric are not adults, but
I'm getting ready to turn 5.
I was going to say, thank goodness for people like Shanda. She keeps us in line. But no, I'm just grateful that we've got a lot of young people that are going to come on board and just come alongside these kids. It's super exciting to see what God's going to do.
It is, and I look forward to just turning it over and saying, "Here, you guys do some of this."
Yeah,
because we do a lot, and I know we always ask and say, if anybody wants to volunteer, just reach out. We'll definitely help you get through the process, and we still encourage you. It's a great thing. And there's a reason that for 6 years, the core team has been rock steady, continuing to do it. It's not because it's burdensome. Sometimes, yes, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to commit to how many ever Saturdays a month and do all this stuff. But guess what? It's worth it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, every time you come out going, I can't believe I had to be here again. And then you're going, wow, I got to be here this Saturday. It was so amazing. It was awesome. Like, even last Saturday, we were short on kids, like a lot less kids than what I thought we would have.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a great night. Like, it was so much fun. We played games that we've never played. We did all kinds of things. We had kids get up and do crossover. And it's just like, I didn't want to miss that.
Yeah.
It's so awesome to be here. And I wish there was more that would just come and enjoy it and see it. And then they'd be like, well, I want to be here more often. So
yeah,
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's going to be, it does. You walk in the doors, you feel like it's just like seeing your family. I know I popped in for dinner. It's good.
And we had a new volunteer on Saturday.
Yeah, we did.
We signed him up a couple weeks ago. This is the first time he's got to be here. He's going to drive the bus. He's going to help me out there. And I think it's amazing that God just talked to me at Chris's church and said, go help Big Blue.
That's so great.
He said, I was in the middle of prayer and I heard God just say, you can do the bus.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's so great.
So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. And we look forward to coming back Monday with Ruth chapter 2.
That's it. We love you guys.